Hi, everyone. This is Terry A. Wilson, and I'm here with another pop-up interview. If you have never watched one of my pop-up interviews, this is going to be a great one to start with. I just know it's going to be good because they're all good because we're just good people, and I just love having fun. And the reason I do these pop-up interviews is because I wanted to have a chance to talk with people all over the world. And it's not like I have a huge production budget for this talk show. It's just me in my office. You can see it all back here. And this gives me a chance to talk with people that I might not otherwise get to talk about. We talk about with authors, book bloggers, service providers, anybody basically who likes to talk about books. The best way to find out information about this is to push the little bell down at the bottom and subscribe to my channel. That will give you an email every time I drop a video. And they're random videos. That's why I call them pop-up interviews. I work around everybody's schedule. So I'm excited today. I have Jzavoris Luciano, and she's going to be here to talk to us about what she's writing, what she's doing, why she got into writing, and just, I don't know, whatever comes up. So how are you this morning?
I'm great this morning. Thank you.
Good. You said it was storming where you are right now, right?
Yes, I'm in Georgia, South Georgia.
Okay. Are you one of those people that storms make you uncomfortable, or do you like them?
I love storms.
Do you feel like the energy and the power, and does that motivate you, or do you like the sounds of it, or how does that go?
The Southerners, that roll of thunder is comforting to us. I'm a traditionalist at heart.
Did your parents ever tell you a story about where thunder came from?
My great-grandmother, when I was little.
What did she say?
It was just God's way of waking us all up.
Well, sometimes it's pretty powerful. I'm in the South too, and I swear sometimes that thunder is like right outside my windows.
It's horrifying at times in Georgia.
Yeah. So if there are any technical difficulties, just hang on. We'll work through them. You know, it is what it is. You are a new author. You published your first book this past fall, right?
Correct.
Okay. Well, why don't you tell us a little bit about what kind of book it is, what it's about?
The name of the book is Optical Illusions. It's a passage from Decadence. It's a two-part series for volume 1. It's a dichotomy of how I wanted to express to the readers or viewers how interracial relationships work, because that's a interchanging dynamic. And when you put two neurotics together, it could go anywhere.
Okay.
There's always this constant struggle for power over the other in the relationship. And I just wanted to express to people how sometimes we can get into relationships and we get so caught up in the emotions that it clouds our judgment. Because the tagline for Optical Illusions is "Illusions are dangerous people. They have no flaws."
Now, this is a fiction book, or is it nonfiction?
This is fiction.
Okay. Don't you think, though, that in any relationship, whether it would be an interracial relationship or the same races, or even the same genders, that there's always that struggle for power?
It can be, but I've been in interracial relationships for about 30, 35 years now.
Okay.
So for me, I'm a veteran. So I see.
Well, thank you for your service.
Thank you very much. Gulf War. Persian Gulf. I see things differently. My experiences have been different. My father was military. So my worldview, of course, is different. And I wanted to put this in a book. I wanted the reader to see that not all women of color are hyper crazy, hypersexual, or off the skids. We bring a lot to the table as women anyway, no matter what color you are. And it's not always the gentleman with the strength,
Hmm.
it's the women too.
Do you find that because you are a woman of color, does that empower you in any unique ways?
Absolutely.
Okay, how so?
Because I think the way I was raised by my parents, I was 5 years old living in Germany when Russia invaded the Czech Republic.
Wow.
Look at that through the lens of a 5 year old. I, I can remember our landlord taking her daughter, throwing her into my mother's arms, Mrs. Jones, take her, please, take her, please. And I think it was those experiences that gave me a more realistic view of life. And I was very close to my father, close to my mom. I have very strong roots. And
Hmm.
we tend to I came from a village. We couldn't go 5 or 6 feet without someone asking, where are you going? I'm going to call Miss Mary, which is my grandmother, if you don't get back to that house. So,
Yeah.
but it molds and shape you in a way that I think is overlooked when it comes to women of color. I come from a very dynamic family, all educators. And I think I've really been writing in my mind all my life. And I've had some wonderful, wonderful experiences that wasn't afforded to other women, period. And I thanks to my parents and thanks to the military.
Did you grow up your entire childhood traveling in the military with your family?
I did.
Was that hard?
No, children are resilient by nature,
Okay.
especially children of color.
Okay.
They have to be. But I think what the military gave me that it doesn't give to children who aren't particularly raised in the military is I was around everyone from everywhere all over the world.
I think that's something that it's definitely a conversation that we need to have, especially in the book world. And I love, that's one of the reasons why I love fiction. And I'm based on your title, is this more of a fantasy type fiction book or is it more real life?
This is more real life.
Okay. I love fiction, and I'm actually more of a fantasy reader, and so sometimes I like to have the fantasy part, but I think fiction in general gives us a chance to address these questions almost in a safe spot.
Correct.
I mean, it's part of it, as you know, as an author, we can create things and we can address things and get our views out there without having to stand on a soapbox, without having to go on Twitter and come up with some kind of
Yeah.
140 character tweet or whatever. I love that about fiction. I think fiction is so empowering.
Yes, it takes you to, very enlightening.
Absolutely.
I
You
really
know,
believe that.
I was a high school teacher in my previous life, and I taught literature, and I loved whenever we did books that I would always try to focus on the history of what was going on at the same time,
Correct.
because I think it really, not only does it influence the author, I mean, like your stories, you talk about the military, it's going to be so hard for you to never ever write a story that doesn't have that influence from your past.
Oh my gosh, it's ironic you would say that. Every book that I've touched or that I'm have in the works, it's all based on an element of the military. like PTSD, for instance, there are so many misconceptions about PTSD. Every veteran or soldier that has PTSD is not off the skids. We PTSD is funny how it works. It's you. I remember one morning for instance, watching Law and Order,
Mm-hmm.
and this is memories that I had suppressed for a long, long, long time. And I saw a Vietnamese woman on the stand, and I stood there just stunned because those images just started coming back.
Images of something you had experienced in the Persian Gulf?
Correct.
Yeah. Well, okay, if you don't mind, let's talk a little bit about that, only because I mean it is such an important topic.
It is, especially being female.
What do we need to do for our veterans that we aren't doing?
Say thank you
Okay.
and never forget.
Okay. How long did you serve?
I did 6 years active and 4 reserve.
And what branch?
Communications, Army.
Army Communications. Okay.
I was an instructor.
And you know, if let me ask you this. I never know who's watching these videos. Okay. You put it out on YouTube, the whole world can see it. And that's what I want. And because I think you and I have this understanding of how powerful what it is we do as authors, if somebody's watching this video and they are suffering from PTSD, let's talk about what can they get, where can they go, what can they do to help themselves?
First, I would go to the church before I would go to the VA.
Okay.
Reason being is because there's so many of us. And I feel that the VA system is compacted. Is that a better word? You sort of you're lost in the sea of other soldiers.
I would say that's probably a very nice way of saying it. I've heard some very not so nice ways of saying it.
Well, my primary care doctor and my pain management doctor were wonderful.
Okay.
They're very good. I think PTSD is not a one-stop, just they use just as one platform to treat everyone. It doesn't work that way because there are different experiences for different soldiers. You don't know their background, where they come from, did they have to struggle before they joined the military. All those variables are there working. PTSD is, if you're not really, really, really strong and I have an extremely strong support system because I'm around veterans. Most of my church members are veterans. And I have family members that are veterans. I mean, I have an uncle who was the adjutant general at Guantanamo Bay, Cuba.
Wow.
My ex that I dated was an intelligence officer, full bird colonel. So I still have those people I can reach out to.
Mm-hmm.
I try to be there for others, but the reason I say go to the church first is because there's so many veterans in the church. And if you have a strong pastor and that church has a strong foundation, they're going to get you the help that you need.
So you've mentioned a couple things. We've talked about the importance of fiction, and now you're talking about church. Do you see your writing almost as like your mission?
I do.
Now, your first book was published in September.
Correct.
What made you decide to go ahead, put pen to paper, button seat, get it finished, get it done, and get it out there?
I think it was the soldier in me, really, to stop talking about it and just get it done. Plan, implement, execute. It's just that simple pie.
Plan, implement. Oh, I like that. Plan, implement, execute. I'm going to put that. I have a white wall I'm staring at. I think I'm going to put that in big letters on my wall.
Yes, if we treat writing like an operation, you don't have to be military. Okay, I'm writing. That's your planning stage. You're getting your ideas. Okay, I have the idea of what I want to do. Implement that, pen to paper, execute, publish.
Mm-hmm. I before I before I did any kind of writing, I shouldn't say any kind of writing, but before I got serious about it, I had a lot of stuff that I would start and never finish. I had that disease, the non-finishers. And the first time I sat down and finished something, I was really very, very lucky because it won a contest. But
Wow.
it showed me that that's the most important thing. We always think about the starting line. My husband's a runner, and he's crazy. He likes to do all kinds of stuff that I can, I just watch from the couch. So we're always talking about the starting line. Show up at the starting line. Show up at the starting line. And sometimes I think it's the finish line that's almost the most important, because you just finish it. Just finish it.
Finish it. You have to treat writing as if you were running a race, your own race at your own pace, of course. I feel this way. You have to tell yourself that winning isn't everything. It's the only thing.
Oh yeah. I like that.
Because you're writing for you. As we write, I don't know if most authors even pay it any attention. Your emotional intel is all over your work. Your writing will tell your state of mind and where you are personally. So just run your race. Don't worry if it's going to be a bestseller or not. Just write your best self and keep evolving, and you will get to where you want to be.
And I think now, are you self-published, or did you go through a publisher?
I'm self-published through Amazon Kindle.
Okay. I think that's one of the beauties of the indie publisher world, self-publishing world right now, is because we do have the opportunity to be involved in every part of it.
Yes.
We get to see the execution of it.
Exactly.
And honestly, our success is dependent upon us. It's not a matter of, and that's good and bad, because it's good because you hold yourself accountable. You're the one in charge. You make your own choices. You make your own decisions. It's bad because we don't have anybody to blame when it doesn't go well, except ourselves.
Except for yourself. You have to start with the man or woman in the mirror.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You've got your first story out, and you said this is book one of 2 books, right?
Two series, yes.
Okay. So when is the second book going to come out?
It's already out.
Oh, I'm sorry. I misunderstood. Okay.
Yes.
So both books are out right now. Are they available on Amazon?
Correct. Yes, ma'am.
And any place else?
No.
Okay.
Amazon.
The first book was Optical Illusion, or was that the second book?
The first book is Optical Illusions, and the second book is Optical Collusions.
Oh, I like that. I like that. Now, was that inspired by something like that you heard, or was it something your character said to you, or where did you come up with that name?
How do I put this? I had a secret clearance, top secret clearance.
Oh.
So I've seen a lot.
Okay, so this isn't going to be one of those things where, like, you would tell us, but maybe it is one of those things. You would tell us, but then you'd have to kill us all.
Pretty much. I don't want anyone knocking on my door. Knock, knock, knock. How did you know that? Um,
Okay, everybody, if this is the last video you ever see of me, it's because we started talking
exactly.
after the camera cut off, okay?
Oh boy. How do I even begin to answer that question?
Okay, well, definitely we don't want to go down that road then, I'm thinking. But I really like that title. I
Hmm.
love, first of all, I like because it's definitely, you can tell the books go together.
They do.
There's a theme. So I like that, but then I like the idea of the optical collusion. I like that. What do you have? What else are you writing?
My next book is called Operation Night Mixer.
Okay, am I supposed to think of a bar and drinks with this or?
No.
Oh, okay.
Operation Night Mixer is about an Iraqi veteran based
Mhm.
on who comes home disillusioned, thinking he and his wife would pick up where they left off. But the wife, he's been away for so long as a Navy SEAL that she just couldn't take anymore.
Mhm.
So he's forced to move in with a friend. But rather than live in despair, he decides to enter the dating scene. And the reason I call it Night Mixer is because he loves R&B music, and that's how he wooed his women.
Ooh. Is he a smooth talker?
Extremely, like Butter Girl.
Oh, and when's that coming out?
The end of March,
Oh,
March
okay.
31st.
My husband's going out of town, so I may need to have you send me a sneak copy first. Oh, that's beautiful.
Thank you.
That's beautiful.
And
Yeah, like,
I'll send you the trailer and teaser for it.
ooh, maybe that'll be a good thing. Maybe it won't be.
I had a hard time explaining to my husband. Thank God he's supportive.
Um, how does your family feel about you writing these books?
I believe I've gotten quite a bit of support from my
Okay.
sisters. I come from a family of educators,
Mhm.
so writing was not a stretch of their imagination.
How do other veterans, have you gotten responses from them?
Oh, yes, quite.
And what
Quite
was the feedback good?
very, very much so.
Okay.
Very much so. And I'm happy about that.
Well, yeah, that's good.
Because the
Y-
better is going to tell you without any hesitation what they think of your writing.
Now, you mentioned sisters, plural. How many sisters do you have?
I have two. I'm the eldest of four. I have two sisters and one brother. He's the baby.
Okay. Did they all go into the military too?
No.
So you were the only one?
Yes, myself and my daughter, my oldest daughter.
Oh, your oldest, is she in there now?
No, she was National Guard. She's out now. I have two daughters, both with their masters working on their doctorates.
Wow. In what field?
One daughter is psychology and counseling, and the other daughter is science, physical science.
Okay. Physical science. And
More like chemistry and physics combined.
okay.
She's a go-getter.
Yeah, I think you would have to be in that field.
Yes, yes. But I
I,
believe that the National Guard, she came home from the National Guard a different young woman,
you know,
stronger, better.
um, when I was teaching, I told you I was teaching high school, and that was something that I saw a lot of because I would see these young men and women. Um, I taught freshmen my first year, so I had a chance to see a lot of them grow up. or stay for 4 years. And then they would join the military, and they would come home after their basic training and then whatever education they did, and they were different people. I mean, it
Yes.
was amazing. I mean, to see some of these little punk kids that I just thought, man, I need you to just don't come near me anymore because you make me crazy. And then they come in and it's, yes, Mrs. Wilson. No, Mrs. Wilson. What can I do for you, Mrs. Wilson? How can I help you? Have a good day, Mrs. Wilson. And it was just so much the level of respect was just, and I think it was a level of self-confidence.
It's a self-confidence.
It was amazing.
I know, because when I did my training, I did my basic training at Fort Jackson, South Carolina, and on to Fort Gordon, which is in Augusta, Georgia,
Right.
were my training. Everyone in my class went overseas except for myself. Someone, I don't know if they were trying to be funny in Washington, D.C., but they decided to send me to Fort Campbell, Kentucky, where
Okay.
they definitely separate the soldier from the child, period.
Yeah.
When I was 4.5 months pregnant, in jungle boots with 26 pounds on my back on a 12-mile road march. I
My,
moved every mile.
oh my goodness.
I was in such physical good shape, I could barely give birth to my baby girl. The doctor said, those muscles of yours are just locking up. I said,
Mm-hmm.
you have to do something. But I complained the entire time I was at Fort Campbell, and when I left, I was dying to get back,
Mm-hmm.
because I realized that Fort Campbell molded and shaped me into a can-do adult, period. Finish the mission, get it done.
I got two things. I'm going to just write down one quick thing so I don't forget. I want to come back to it. But don't you feel like your self-confidence even increased even more when you got that book out, the first book out?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I remember I just published my first one last fall. And I remember I remember when I saw it and I saw my name. First of all, I was like, I didn't think it was me. I was like, who's this person? She got my name. But then I was like, wait, no, that's me. But then it was like, man, I want to go skydiving. I want to go cliff rock hiking. I want to go learn how to, I want to be an opera singer. I want to go be a truck driver. I want to do everything.
Yeah, but I love that about you, having that sense of adventure. We as women need to empower ourselves. I believe that's your emotional intel telling you, let's do something, let's do something wild.
Yeah,
I tell everyone when it's like, oh my God, you're wild and out of control. No, I'm the quintessential wild thing by D.H. Lawrence. I never
absolutely.
met a wild thing feeling sorry for itself. A bird will fall frozen from its bough without having felt sorry for itself.
Yep. That's one thing I tell everybody. The tagline for everything I do, for my website and everything, is "Believe you can fly."
Oh my God, yes.
And that comes from the Indiana Jones. Two things. It comes from the Indiana Jones movie, the third one, with Sean Connery. I can never remember the name of it, but there's a scene where he is trying to save his father by getting the Last Crusade. Yes, he's trying to save his father, and he comes to a canyon, and he has to have faith and step out. And as soon as he makes that first step, the bridge comes out. Right.
Correct. A penitent man is
Right. So
humble.
then it comes from that. And then it also comes from a story I heard in church one time where the minister said, when you get to the edge of the cliff, you have two choices. You either trust that you'll grow wings, or you go home. I was like, and so that's what finally did it for me. And I tell everybody, I say, just do it. Just trust that you can do it. And I think that's just awesome. We were talking about young people in the military. And I
Right.
know I wrote down the word Israel here only because I know in Israel and other countries besides the United States, they make young people serve 1 to 2 years in the military after high school. Do you
I
think?
think we should,
Yeah.
because we could save so many children, especially young females from
Mm-hmm.
across the board, from across the spectrum. It is a very enlightening experience because
Uh-oh.
as far, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Sorry. You're going to have to push yourself to your vertical limit,
Mm-hmm.
literally. But once you have gotten over that hurdle and made that accomplishment, you're going to always have that can-do attitude.
Yep.
I
Absolutely.
worked I worked in as a rep in sales and marketing in the cosmetic beauty industry.
Mm-hmm.
My nickname on the floor was Barracuda. They were like, "Oh my God, here she comes." They would tell me that, and I tell them, if you're not a shark, you may as well leave now because it's over.
Yeah.
And I remember the first job I had with L'Oreal, and all the big wigs came down from New York, and everyone was recoiling, standing there like 10 soldiers. I did what I came to do. And I looked at one of the VPs. I didn't know he was a VP. He was very nice, very personable.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "What are you doing?" I said, "My job." I said, "You pay me to do this." I said, "If we don't get it done now, we won't, because everyone will be in later on. And then
Right.
we have too much competition on the floor." And he just stood back and watched me. I had him out there handing out samples. They said, "He's never done that before." I said, "Well, he's doing it now. He's doing a great job."
Yeah.
Period. And I've always had that. Once I hit the floor, I'll ask the manager, what's the numbers? How are the numbers and scan? Even though I didn't work for her specifically, I still represented my company. I would come in there and do what I had to do and leave. And everyone would, their jaws would drop. I could come in and sell 30, 40 pieces with no problem.
Wow.
But I tell everyone, you can put a soldier in the middle of a cupcake factory, tell them what the mission is, and they will get it done.
Yeah. It's a really good point.
Mm-hmm.
And on that point, our time's up. Can you believe it? It went so fast.
It went really fast.
It wasn't too painful, was it?
No, you're
Awesome.
very comforting.
Oh, thank you. That's good to.
Teacher. You guys have that way,
Yeah.
that
That's
nurturing.
That's good to hear. And if you guys are out there and you heard that, come talk to me. If you want to talk to me, it's so easy. Go to my website, www.terryawilson.com, and click Pop-Up Interviews. Also, go ahead and hit that thumbs up, because I know you like this, because come on, look at her. She's wonderful. We love
Thank you
her.
very
Go out
much.
and buy her books. They're on Amazon. And you're going to go and get both of them. Don't just start with one. Get both of them. That way you
Get
can
both.
just jump right
Yes,
into it.
they will be very surprised, entertained, but they will be taken on a journey.
Awesome. Go ahead and hit the bell down below and subscribe to this channel. That way, every time I do post a video, you will get notification. Interviews aren't the only thing that I'm working on. I've got a couple other little magic things stuck up my sleeve that you're going to want to have notification when they happen. So thank you, everybody, and have a great day.